Excellent. Hopefully we are recording. Yep. Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar / demo walkthrough of Seamlss, but also we'll go through the new features of Seamlss that we've just deployed, which was last week ethical clearances, and this week today was the XPM Jobs Integration, where we're now deploying jobs when you are sending off requests within Seamlss. Hopefully you're not feeling like this today and you're feeling a lot better than that. Who is Clayton Wood? I am the co-founder of Seamlss. My other co-founder, Daniel, is on the call along with Celeste. I am the practice manager and owner of Business Edge Advisors. Practice manager, I'm the director, whatever. I'm an accountant. Hopefully you know who I am by now, but we built Seamlss to help firms just like yours because we had problems with onboarding and keeping it all secure and making it really easy and seamless. And hence why co-founded Seamlss is to help firms that are onboarding lots of clients and they want to make it a lot easier for accounting firms. So we're going to go through leads, triggers. We'll also touch on onboarding clients and sending off XPM things and stuff in a minute. But first, we'll kick it off with leads. So I'll jump straight into the demo. This is the whole point of today. Here is the main dashboard of Seamlss. If I go too fast or anything, by all means, put it in the chat. If you do have questions, put it in the chat as well. Daniel will be there to help support. So with leads, the biggest thing we want to do is triage leads. So here is our basic lead dashboard. If we click on leads on the left, this is the main lead area. So you can see leads on the dashboard here. If we want to add a lead, it's really easy. Just click add. Put in the lead's details. Might be Clayton Wood. You might put in a description of where you met the lead or what they're about. Maybe his NDIS, and I think he's worth a couple of bucks. Where did he come from? He was at today's webinar. His source was email, and maybe we have some tags that we want to include. Something like that. Status will be pending. We're going to assign it to a partner. I'm going to assign it to an account manager, and we're going to add that. And now the lead's in there. So now we've got our lead. They're on the dashboard. Now we can manage them. Why is that? Because we want to note every interaction that we're doing with the lead. So if you are managing leads, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm doing it by word of mouth, or they come by the email and the website and things like that. Now, I've seen a lot of firms' websites, and they are just a standard contact us form. It's a name, it's a phone number, an email. It's a how can we help you? It's just a single comment box. If you are using something like Seamlss, you can add the link to your website from Seamlss. So you can have your own lead link. That means you can build it out. This is a lead link. You can edit it. You can have a welcome. You can add in different forms. In this case, they're going to fill out this form. So there's a landing page. It's unique to your firm. It'll say, welcome to my firm. Here's the lead link. They're going to fill that out. And then it says, thank you. Now, if you're triaging these clients, you may not give them a booking link. If you're pretty open and you're just like, I want as many new clients as I can, let's go. They might book a triaging call. They might book a productive accounting meeting with you there on the spot via Calendly. You can save that, and then we can share that link anywhere on the internet. We can send it via email. So if a client rings up and says, oh, I want a new client meeting with Clayton, they will be sent the link, or you could fill it out and send them the link as well. So in this case, the client will fill it out, they'll get the form, and then I can triage them. So once they've been sent that form, you can then mark them down with, you can log an action. Maybe it was called to discuss restructure, because he's an NDIS client. Sign it to Clayton Wood, and maybe that was on today. And I'm going to add that action to the lead, and then it's going to be in there and marked down. So if they've filled out a form, that will also come in here, and then you can view it and download it, and you can review it. In my firm, when a client books in and they fill out that form comes to me and I review it before the meeting. So before I have a meeting with a client, I already know what their turnover is, what structure they've got, what software they're using, what entity they're looking to change to, what their hopes and dreams are, and what they didn't like about their last client. from that point, I'm able to make a better guess on whether this is someone I want to work with. So you can take a booking and you can get a referral or a phone call, but if you're triaging the client and you're using the lead manager, you'll be able to decide who are the people I really want to work with and valuing that time with the clients and with your team. So the triaging process is super critical to allowing you to take in the good clients and getting rid of the tire kickers. So what does that look like? If someone rings up, they fill out the form, the admin fills it out and they go, the tire kicker, he's not fitting in with our triage process, I'm going to email him and say, we think you should go down the street. If they are an ideal client and they're a manufacturer and they're a big firm, big business, they're on zero, they're up to date with their taxes, this is someone we want to work with, they'll ring them up, get them on the phone, maybe they'll triage them some more, but hopefully they'll book them in for a meeting with the partner as soon as possible. But by adding and logging all the actions, you can track them. Now on the screen here, you can also hide, view, sort by partners, managers, sort them by columns. You can also export all the leads via CSV from this data center. So some firms do that because they want to track the leads each week or each month, with each team member to see how they're progressing along with the leads. If someone's actually targeting and engaging and triaging the leads in the management process. Don't get me wrong, a lot of firms don't really do a whole lot with their leads, and that's why I'm just touching on there's a few different triaging processes you can do. But some firms use the leads a lot, and they are exporting the leads, and they are reporting on them at their meetings with the team to say, I've followed up Clayton, I've talked to John, I'm doing X, Y, Z, I've got such and such coming in next week, I've converted this prospect, I've done a proposal for that one. That is the main role with leads, and I get it, everyone's a little bit different. What would you do from a lead once they're won? You can onboard them. So from here, you can review and start onboarding the client. Now you can see here, this client already exists. I've used myself several times, but it's just an example that you can start onboarding from a lead. I'll go back to my slides. We're going to onboard someone. So we're going to convert a lead and turn them into a client. So in this case, come back here and I'm going to add a client. Get my email. Copy. Put in their name, email, and I need a phone number. Apologize, I don't remember my phone number. So we do validate phone numbers and things to make sure they're not being misused. But we also send the SMSs for clients to get them to log in. So in this case, I'm going to onboard Bob Barker. We're going to add his company. He's got the cookie company. Add that in there. We'll do an ID check. Today, I'm just going to skip that. You could do a Stripe DVS. You'll see that I have to do a bunch of things with the phone. You can watch the Stripe DVS on the YouTube. Basically, it'll go through the same process. Should I do a other option? We'll do the other. We'll get some other documents in this one, in this case, to make it a bit easier. When you're onboarding a client, there might be additional forms and additional information you want to get. So in this case, maybe we want to get a consent to act form. Maybe there's some BAS documents and some GST. Maybe they're a new client and we didn't do a triaging process, so we want their hopes and goals and concerns while they're onboarding. So I'm going to add that as a form. It's my engagement letter. So with engagement letters, you can have one or many engagement letters inside Seamlss. And with that, when you are sending a request, you can customize the template on the way out. So you can write whatever you want. You can change the wording. You can delete things out. So you can customize it for whatever you want for that client. We do include all the links. So you can click on the client. We'll be able to click on the links. For example, if it was to the tax practitioners board, it would take them to the, whatever that thing's called, the information sheet that you're required to give to all the clients now. So you can link to those things. This engagement letter template is in Seamlss. It is quite deep. It is thorough. you do need to customize it for your firm. Every firm is different. Your tools, your apps, your team, your location, everything is different. You need to customize your template for your firm. Save, done, let's go. I'm going to assign that to different partners and different managers. Now, this is where the job deployment can get a little bit tricky because the client is new, and in Seamlss, I'm going to go XPM Job Deployment. You can see that they're not in Seamlss because this is a new client. So how do we deploy a job to a new client? Simple. We're going to find, match, or create. In this case, it's going to go, oh, this person is not in XPM. So we're going to create them as a new individual. Now they're in Seamlss. This one here, find or match. This one is also not in XPM. So we're going to create a new company. Excellent. That allows us to now deploy jobs to XPM. So I'm going to turn that on. Oh, that didn't work. What have I done wrong there, Daniel? Always the first one. I'm not sure. Do none. Bob Barker, match. Match, job. Now they're blue, excellent. We're back. So we're going to deploy a job. In this case, let's just say it's an onboarding or maybe it's a consulting job. 2025, consult. I'm going to give it a fake name so I can find it and delete it later. I'm going to give it a budget. I'm going to call it consulting. Now these templates are all pulling from your Zero Practice Manager already. So in this case, let's just say it's an individual, 2025, tax return, $50. Compliance, maybe we want to add multiple. So maybe the company's got more jobs. So maybe they've got an FBT return. It's a bigger job. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to add the client. So that is now added and sent the request off. I can copy the link request and add it to my email and send it from my email, but that is sent a link to the client. If I look inside the job manager, here are all my jobs. If I refresh the screen and I type in fake, oops, if I can spell, the jobs I just deployed are in there. So you can see the Bob Barker one that I just created. I've just deployed the job to XPM on sending the request. Now, I've talked to Celeste, and when we were building this, it was either on completion or on request. So depending on what you're doing, but we've decided in our firm that we're going to send it when we send the request off because Celeste wants the admin team to be adding time to the jobs when we onboard a client. When we do a re-engagement, we want to adding times to those jobs so that when the admin team's downloading APO documents and things like that, the time is getting allocated to the request at that time when it's already been deployed. Excellent. Re-engagement, it's similar process with document collection, engagement letter, and job deployment. And that's what a lot of firms like mine will do now. So similar, you could also ask for additional ID. If you were with Clayton and something was a bit dodgy, there is some requirements with your client. If something seems a bit off with them, you can request additional ID. If you've had someone for years and you didn't have to do an ID check, but now you're like, oh, something's a bit off, you can request additional information from within Seamlss. You could say, send me a notice assessment, send me your passport, or you could send them to do a Stripe DBS check. So in this case, I'm just going to send off another request to get some more information from the client. But let's do a re-engagement from a sense of, we're going to call Clayton's job in. It's now September. Clayton needs a home loan and it's urgent, so we want to call his job in for October. So we're going to review and send for re-engagement. So here's Clayton Wood. Here's his entities. We also want some fetch form information. So we want to gather his end of year financial statements information. So add that. So we want his bank data. Maybe he also has a rental property. So we want his beach house rental property. So we'll gather that data as well. We also have the ITR tool, and we've done a bunch of amazing updates to that. So if you did the ITR, you could upload the pre-fill, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second if you do lots of tax returns. Again, custom engagement letter, you can customize it, and that's what they will sign. save as a done. I don't want a new template. You could skip the engagement letter if they were signing it somewhere else, but in today, I get them to sign it because then I know all the entities done. We can see Clayton Wood is ready to deploy. So I'm going to set some jobs up for Clayton. Here's Clayton Wood. Job template will be his individual, 2025, ITR, type in fake again, just so you can see that it is working. And we're going to do compliance. Again, this template information will pull through from your firm's templates. So whatever templates you've got going on is what it will pull in. Again, you can add multiple job templates to deploy. Maybe Clayton's a sole trader. I'm going to add compliance, internal, save it, and then I'm going to send it. So Clayton will get the same thing. He'll get a link, we'll get an SMS, and you'll log in. If you're a firm user of Seamlss, add yourself as a client, then you get this sweet little button up the top left here, and you can switch to the client view and test Seamlss out on yourself. So here's the ID request that I just sent myself before. This directs the client onto why we're doing ID checks. They can go through the guide to guide them through the ID check if they want. Here's all the different documents that they can upload that allows you to do ID checks, check help statements against the ATO portal and things like that. So I'm going to upload a document. In this case, I'm going to upload, just say it was my notice of assessment. Continue. So that would normally be done when you do a full onboarding, but you can request additional re-engagements and onboarding ID checks. So if there's a re-engagement, the client will click on the link, SMS, and log in. This is where they'll be taken straight to the client portal. It's got my branding from my firm, but I'm in here as a client. Here are all the details. TFNs and BSBs and director IDs get validated. We also look up on ABR lookup. So this will actually look up the ABN and bring back the right information. So it's going to bring in the ACN, the business name. Again, they'll be able to validate the TFN, the BSB, things like that. Here's my end of financial year information. So I really want some information for the client so I can do his job. So in this case, I'm going to get me the bank statement data. Yeah, let's just save that one. So you can drag and they'll be able to drag and drop. If they're on their mobile phone, they just take photos and things like that. It's really easy, fairly simple. They can go through, click save, and go on to the next step. This is the rental property one. Notice that I've changed the name of the forms to make it really easy. The client might drag and drop their rental information in there from the from that what do you call those people? Agents. So there's the rental info. Now we've got that. They could also fill it out. So it's a bit like a work paper. You've got the information. They're putting it in there. Save and continue. Here is the end of the process. Add their own entities. Save and continue. We've updated the signing page to make it a bit easier, but you can see that I customize it just for this client. So you can delete, edit. They can click on the back sheet from their tax practitioners board. Confirm, complete, and done. So now I've re-engaged Clayton. The admin team have gotten all the information. If Clayton was a new client, there is agent linking. I get a lot of firms still asking about agent linking. It's really easy with Seamlss. So at the end of the process, the client's gotten to this screen. They got to check and do their agent linking. Here it is here. They go through the process. Do they have MyGov ID set up? Most say yes. Have they got a link to their ABN? Most would be yes. They're in business. But if they don't, it'll step them through the process. Get your MyGov ID. Connected to the RAM. Here's your entities. It's pulling all this data from Seamlss. It'll say, here is the tax agent details you need to look up and nominate. And then at the end, they can confirm that they've done it. That sends the admin team a notification that says, add Clayton to your ATO portal. Winning. If they haven't done that, you can send them an email reminder and take them straight back to that page. If they still haven't done that, download the engagement letter and upload it to the ATO and get them to do it. The ATO, through the ATO portal, will do it in about a week or two. It can be a bit slower. So if you're urgent, recommend that it keeps sending the Seamlss link so that they can complete it here. So I'm done as a client in that respect. Now, just want to show you the ITR tool because a lot of people, especially current firms, aren't aware of all the updates we made. So to do individual tax returns, we've got this awesome, amazing ITR tool. So it will look up ANSIC codes. So you've got the right ANSIC code for the front cover. Based on what they answer, it will dynamically change for the questions. And they continue on. It will show the client their pre-fill. They can agree and confirm. They can say, no, I don't agree. The interest is wrong. Continue on. You can turn these questions on and off, and you can edit the descriptions here in the settings. Yes, no, they can add, upload more. They might have one dividend. They might add multiple dividends. If they've got one rental property, they might add multiple rental properties. It's all very straightforward. I do recommend you come in here and play with this. Vehicles. Do they have a logbook? Yes or no? If it's a logbook, it'll ask more questions. Yes, some clients might go, why am I doing all the tax for you? Because I'm awesome and they want to pay me to do it. That's why they'll do this. Here's all the information. Done. You can just send a simple fetch form that's just a yes, no question. Do you have deductions? Upload here. But if you want a good online tax return tool, this is where it's at. It'll all dynamically change based on the questions that they're answering. And then at the end, you can also ask for last year's tax returns. You can also have terms and conditions that they can confirm and agree that they've got all their documents. You can edit all of these details in the settings. I do highly recommend you go and check that out. Unfinish that as a firm, as a client. I'll go back to the firm view now. So you can see in the details screen here, Clayton's done his re-engagement, he's done his ID check. That would have sent a notification to the admin team and they will come in here and do something. So I'm gonna mark that as done, review Clayton. So with his ID check, we're gonna add him to the HO portal and we're gonna verify his bank details and his TFN, and hopefully you've done a Stripe DVS with a biometric check. But in this case, we're gonna review what he sent us. He sent his dodgy looking license. That looks like Clayton, and you can note what you sent. You can note that it was good, electronic, in person, or otherwise, and you delete it. We don't keep ID documents. We delete them after 14 days. You shouldn't keep them either. Mark as verified. So once you've added them to the portal and you've done all your verifications, you check documents against the HU portal, off you go. So in this case, he's sent us the notice assessment, just to say it was a notice assessment or a BAS statement. So you can mark that down as a notice assessment. Cool. I'm happy with Clayton. I'll mark that off as verified. I've matched those against the ATO. Verification, done. I've now got that as a log as per my requirements as a tax practitioner of when, who, what, how, and it was good. Verification done. Here is the entity. Clayton lied, didn't do his entity agent linking. I'm going to update that. And I'm going to send him a reminder. And that's what I'm talking about. If they haven't done it when you're onboarding, you can remind them. And then if they really do suck, download the engagement letter and upload it to the HO. Save yourself some pain. Forms, all the forms are there. You can download the documents. You can upload them to your document management solution. If you're using FYI Docs, SharePoint, OneDrive, Google Drive, all those different things, you can sync to the document management solution with Seamlss. You can view and download all your documents, the notes, the history, and you can delete the client. Now with the history, you can see who did what when, whether it was you or whether it was the client. What did you send them? What it was looking like? You can also preview engagement letters in here. If you've sent a custom engagement letter to the client, you can now view the custom engagement letter in the history. So we've onboarded the client, we've verified against the ATO, we've got all the documents. If it was a re-engagement, we've got all the documents, the admins downloaded them, got the ATO documents and downloaded that and got the job ready for the team. We're gonna push and update it to XPM. Here is the information in Seamlss on the left and in XPM. We want to keep XPM as a single source of truth. So we want to push or do nothing, or we want to pull it from XPM. You've got the ability to do either in Seamlss. We'll sync and merge and that will update them, and then we can view them in XPM straight away and get started doing the things. Now, we did talk about the jobs. So if we go into the job manager here, hopefully that fake job that I just submitted is also done for Clayton. So if I type in fake, there's a couple of new jobs for Clayton Wood. There's his ITR, the return and the FBT return that we just did. The jobs are deploying into Seamlss. Let's go. It will also allow you to search and match different entities, and you can put all the entity details in. We're not just syncing contacts. This is the TFN, the ABN, the ACN, and things like that. Now, the fun part, ethical clearance. So this is one of the new parts of Seamlss. So why did we make this? Because we want to get all the documents off email. So much insecure ways of doing things. So that's why we did the ethical clearance. We want to send the request to the other firm and we want to gather data to complete the request. This is version 1. We'd love feedback. I asked for feedback on the Sabata group. Didn't get any. So we built what I thought would be good. I would love more feedback going forward so we can make this even better. To add a request, just click add. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to do Bob Barker again. So I'm just going to copy my email here. Give me 1 second. Copy that. Just email. For the big firm. You don't need a phone number. Excellent. So I've put in the information in there, name, phone number, email. Who's the primary contact? So maybe it's the partner, Mr. Mike. You can put additional instructions in here. So what you can do is if you know, for example, they've got an SMSF and they're on BGL, you might say, please send BGL SMSF ID to Clayton. So that will come up on the screen to give the admin team a bit more instructions. It could be, please send 0 subs to my sub email. So you can give a bit more instruction. Next one, some entities. So we're taking, we'll take Bob Barker. We'll take him again. Now, in the past, with the settings, I've always recommended TFNs on. Please put in the comments. I recommend TFNs on because it's the bane of our existence if you're trying to add someone to the portal. Now, with ethical clearance, you can actually get the TFNs from the old accounting firm. So if the client didn't know it because it's redacted on every single statement they've ever got, you could get it from the other firm. So in this case, I'm going to do a company, and it's the treasure trove, and we want the TFN from the treasure trove as well. So we'll go next. Now, this is the last part. We'll review who and what and when. Here's the ethical clearance part. So if we've got an ethical clearance letter from the other firm, we can get that information. Just give me 1 second. I'll find a ethical clearance if I've got one. So you drag and drop. The partner's signed the ethical clearance, got the information that you would normally do on your letterhead, drag and drop it on there. The firm will be able to download it. You can put an additional message in, just like the rest of Seamlss, on your request. But in this case, I'm just going to send it off. Now I'm in the other firm. So I am the other firm receiving the request. Here's the email. It's come through already. Hi, dear Big Four firm. We're requesting the ethical clearance. Here are the entities that we're requesting on the clearance. And here's the additional information that I want you to send the 0 subs to. View request. Now they're going to log in. They're going to get a code via email. So still multi-factor authenticated. If I go back to my email here, here's the code. Let's copy and paste the code to log in securely. Here is the information now. Here would be the letter from the partner so that you can get the letter. Clearly that's not a letter, but you get the idea. That would be the signed partner letter. Here is the additional instructions again, telling them what to do. This is where the TFN is. So if I put a fake TFN in, it won't work. It'll say that it's not right. The other firm may put in other PDF and other information. Drag and drop makes it really easy for them. They can have one or many. It might be think, trust, deed, company constitution, things like that. In this case, we're also going to give a response. So what kind of response do we want? It's giving them some instructions here. Maybe we're going to decline it. Maybe they owe us money. This guy owes me money. Now, same with Bob Barker. Let's put the information in there. I think I was supposed to make one of them an ACN. No, I did. There's the company up there. That's cool. And now for this guy, I'm going to say approved. So it's gone green. I'm going to save all the pending responses. And what do you know? TFN gets validated. So that TFN is not valid. That is the beauty of Seamlss. We're validating the data for you. Right, so it's saved successfully. Now I've got the information. Now as the other firm, they can get the information back. So here is my request. If I just refresh the page. Big four. Oh, it's pending. What's happened here? Turns out that this guy owes money. Hopefully the other firms uploaded the invoice here, and that's where it's sitting. So once old mate pays, they can go back in and approve it. So if the other firm said later, it's approved, it was got paid, they can come back in here and they can approve it, and then they can finish, and then they're done. Once all the sponsors are submitted and done, they can't come back and edit it. One thing to note is if they do come back, if they've entered a TFN and it's valid, we will mask it for anyone else that logs in. So anyone that logs into this ethical clearance from the other firm, if the TFN's in there, it will then be masked and they won't be able to view it. We want to keep it all secure. Submit that. Ethical clearance completed. Bring that down. I'll refresh the screen. Now we've got the completed clearance. We can download the files. We've got authority. Let's go. Ethical clearance, tick box, done. In the future, we do have some more plans with some checklists and some tools to help the admin team support them through the ethical clearance process and what needs to be done there. But we'd love more feedback from you guys to help make that happen. Lots of questions happening there, Daniel. Cool, ethical clearance. I will touch on the smart links. So smart links, if you don't know what they are, these are the ability to collect data automatically from anywhere. So you can create a smart link for your firm, just simply add the link and you can start filling it out. So if I add a smart link, let's create a new one. We'll just use the one we've already got. So let's just say we're doing is there an FBT one? FBT form. So if I create this link, I'm going to do the FBT form. You can customize all this for your own heart's content for how you want it to look. Because it's an FBT form, I don't need to onboard the client. If it was a new client form and a link, I would tick all these boxes because I want them to be able to add their new entities. If it was a new client form, I may also want them to do an ID check. This link is unique to your firm and they can click on it from anywhere. Here's my FBT form. Do I want them to skip or sign an engagement letter? I might want to have an FBT engagement letter in here and they're going to sign it and it talks about pricing and stuff, but maybe I also want to skip it. I'll save that link and that is done. So now I can share that smart link anywhere I want. When the client clicks on it, they can start actioning their requests. So FBT form, it will look like that. They can put their details in here and start, and they'll fill out the form, and then you'll get a notification that someone's done the request and it's completed, and you can start doing it. Firms are doing this for tax returns. I used it a lot for tax planning, FBT, things like that, where I needed data before a meeting so that I was getting answers and having a better meeting. That's the power of smart links. There is a whole guide on here. It's a link. You can put it on an email. You can put it on a website. You can put it on a QR code. There are so many places you can put it. We've talked about that in the past. Where can you use them? So on your website, so you can have it on your website. I have firms going, the client logs in, they say, I want to do a tax return. They click on the link and they fill out all the tax return information. So my clients are filling this information in. By the time they come and meet with me, they're on the ATO portal, they're verified, they're in XPM, their job's created. They sit down with me, half of the tax return is done, if not all of it, because the team member's already done it. And then I sit there and say, hey, how good's the weather? Here's your bill. Thanks for coming. I kid you not, I've had meetings that go for less than 2 minutes. I feel bad. But that's the power of getting all the data up front in before you even have a meeting. So obviously you can go from Stripe to a smart link. You can go from a Google ad to a Facebook ad, anything you want. The other big one that we released not that long ago was InstaFetch and InstaSend. Should I go back, Celeste, to XPM? Is that what people really want to know? Or should we touch on the questions? Or come back to them at the end?
I think the questions would be good because then they'll give you a lead-in to then show XPM if needed.
Daniel? Oh, God, there's so many questions. Can Daniel ask the questions or Celeste?
There was one from Jody about ACNs. It's sort of up the top a bit.
Yep.
Jody was asking, do you use the ACN to do the agent linking where your bookkeepers and the accountants take them out of the portal?
ABN, not
yeah.
ACN. Yeah.
Well,
so no, agent linking for tax agents, you add TFN. Bookkeepers add ABN.
ABN. Yeah.
And if an accountant adds a client to their portal via an ABN, you will kick off the bookkeeper. Do not do that as an accountant. You're just TFNs, and that's why we use Seamlss, is to get the TFN securely. The client doesn't know it. Use the ethical clearance to get it from the old accountant.
Yeah, and that's just talking to your admin staff and making sure they're aware of that so they know not to do it.
100%, 100%. And look, it's confusing, it's different, it's new to a lot of people, so yeah. Next questions, Daniel, don't be shy.
We had one just wanting to have a look at notification area, just to check how that works.
So as in, you can have so many different people set up for notifications. So you can, with the smart links and the things like that, you can obviously hook them into Zapier as well. So if you're using things like Zapier to fire off different things, inside Seamlss, when things are done, Zapier could go off and do other things in other apps. With the notifications, you get a notification. You can tick all these boxes and you can have one or many different notification options. So you could have admin, team, Clayton, anyone that they want, and you can tick them all on. You can also have partners and managers to get all the account notifications. You can also, in each user, edit the information on who will get and receive notifications if they are a partner manager. So maybe they do want to receive notifications. So if you tag them in it, they will get the notifications as well to their email. So there are a bunch of different ways you can change who gets the notifications. So many ways to get notifications. But I believe in our firm, all the notifications go to the admin team, so that when someone's onboarded or completed a request to do their annual tax, someone goes in here and takes action.
Yeah, and then they can just triage from their inbox in
Yeah,
Burn. And if there's
Rachel just needs to check how many emails they've got on there, but it should only be the one. You can click the test button, it'll send you a test email just to see if it was working, because a lot of firms, the reason they don't get notifications, they don't get information from Seamlss, is because their firewall's blocking it at an Office 365 level. Talk to your IT department about that one. Daniel, more questions?
I think we got through them all, but if I missed you in the chat, please raise your hand or type it in.
So the other thing with XPM, it's really easy to sign in and disconnect from XPM. Here I am if I was a new firm, and this is what it looks like. Connect to XPM, and then I'll just say sign into XPM, authorize, allow access, done, off we go. Now I've got XPM in Seamlss. It's just that easy. And you might think, this will probably say no jobs, but you just sync the job templates. It will pull them through from your Zero Practice Manager. So your XPM is what it'll come up with. We are working with the XPM team at Xero to do more with jobs and get more setups, help with firms. So there is more to come on that, and we'll talk into that more later as well. So can it sync with Logit? You can download the client data and import it into Logit, and it'll populate all of the client's information and entities and stuff in Logit, but you can't export the ITR data just yet. That would be amazing if we could import ITR data. Excellent. I will go back to wherever I was at.
Paul just had a question there down the bottom, Clayton.
Which one?
Second last from the bottom. Yep.
Does it come with templates? Okay, yeah, I've been talking to that. So Zero Tax is the same as XPM. So if you're using Zero Tax, the Zero Tax is just XPM without jobs. So if you're syncing Zero Tax or XPM, it's the same. Same. Doesn't matter. Just click on the button, it'll still sync. We only just got XPM Jobs turned on in the Seamlss version just for jobs. So literally the last 5 years of demos I've been doing with XPM, it was actually just Zero Tax, basically. Templates. So you get a whole bunch of different templates. You get the template for engagement letters. This one will come with your sign up. For forms, there is a whole bunch of different forms in here. You can copy, paste, duplicate, add them, edit them. They will be yours once you've added them to the system. You can preview it or you can add it. Once you've added it, it's then a part of your firm. And if you don't like the way the form is, you can edit it, but I will also recommend you duplicate the form, and then you can have multiple. You can have one, you can have many. You can sort them all out. The key thing that I want people to realize is that I put a lot of firms, and they think they've got to build the client forms. A lot of the client forms, if there's an entity form like an individual or a company, these are pre-built forms. These forms are made by us because they are collecting that key information that goes on the front cover of the tax return. It's important to accountants to make sure that we've got valid TFNs, that we've got valid bank details, things like that. Same, can we link to QBO? I haven't seen much of a reason to connect to QBO, Jody. I would love it if you could email me what you would want in QBO. Let me know, because then we'll sync some data to QBO. Paul's question, hopefully I've answered that around the ITR and agent linking. So again, the ABNs and all that's looked up. If you can't edit our agent linking guide, this is custom built by Seamlss for your firm. So you don't edit the questions in here. You don't need to. It works. Initially people sent back feedback and we updated it, but these days we don't do any updates. All these links will go to the right places. It will go through the right process. So that will make it really easy for your clients. Paul, this will be your tax agent details. It will pull from in the settings within Seamlss. ITRs, entities, agent linking. Hopefully that answered all Paul's questions. One other thing that I love at the moment, Celeste, I think that we're all using a lot of, is InstaFetch and InstaSend. So everyone, when you get to the end of a process of a job and you're doing the work paper and the accountant's going, oh, I've got 5 quick questions. That's what InstaFetch is for. I lost an $8,000 client because we didn't have InstaFetch. I sent off the email, it had 5 questions or whatever. The bloody client answered 3 of them. The email was, 20 emails long. 5 months later, I'm like, you still haven't answered the question from email 1. He was wondering why the job was taking so long. It turned out that he didn't answer that one question, and we just kept going back and forth. He just didn't realize. I didn't realize. It was a kerfuffle. It is what it is. But we rose above, changed our process, and thankfully I got Daniel to build this. So InstaFetch. When you are sending requests to clients and you just have a couple of quick questions and it's not a whole big form, generally at the end of the work paper process, you're like, I want to send Clayton a question. Type in his name. You can edit the form description, so you could be like, you can give it questions. You can give it some more details here if you wanted to. I generally wouldn't bother. But you might say, I want the bank statement. And usually you would just be copying and pasting this from your work paper because the accountant's already worked out the questions. How many sheep do you have? Maybe it's just like that. And then you're just basically ticking whether you want files uploaded or not. The idea I wanted was just to make it quick and easy. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, send. I don't want to build a form. I don't want to go in and go and try and build a whole nother form just for those quick questions at the end of a job. This could be for a BAS. This could be for FBT. This could be for tax. Send the fetch form off. The client gets it. They click on the link and they get the SMS. They log in. They give you the answers. So from a client point of view, what does that look like? I'm in the client area. I click on my link. I get SMS. And then it says here, Clayton wants some information. Oh, he wants the bank statement. I can give him the bank statement because I've got that data right here. Come back. Oh. Drag and drop. Here it is here. How many sheep have I got? I got 400 there, and I got $12,000 there. Finish. Done. That is done. So that request has been done and actioned. I'm just going to flick across and back. So now I've got the answer. So you might be thinking, oh, why did I do that in Seamlss and not in email? Because if it's trapped in my email, it gets forgotten, it gets missed. Items get missed. If the employee goes away, they're sick, they're on holidays, whatever, it's stuck in their email. If it's in Seamlss, someone can follow it up. They can send an SMS reminder. They can send a text reminder. They can email them and be like, hey, get us this information so we can finish your job. You've got a way of tracking it and processing it.
Yeah, so utilising this in our firm, the quick fetch, we find that the accountants, like, they're not all over how to use Seamlss themselves. Potentially, it's the admin team that do it, but they know how to just jump in and send that InstaFetch request, and then they know they don't have to. They can brush their hands of it until admin notify them to say, "Oh, by the way, that document's now being sent in, or you've got the information you required." So then they reschedule it into their workflow. Yeah, so it's a great function.
So basically, once the accountant sends it off, they don't have to worry about it. The admin team will take care of it. The opposite side of an InstaFetch is an InstaSend. A lot of firms are using HEO Mate and Smart Docs. That's fine. If you're not using it, or maybe you are, but you want to send something securely. So think ABA files. ABA files is what you download and you upload for payroll. That's got all the sensitive bank information in it. And a lot of firms are sending that over email. So we send all ours through InstaSend. And with InstaSend, we also send documents like note of assessment, a payment slip, anything else with their tax file number and details on it. So I can just type in the client's name, put it down, find the file I want to give to them. It might be a note of assessment, in a way, or could be a payment slip. We all know that payment slips are annoying because the BPay number has the TFN in it. You can't redact that. Send it off, done. We don't need to redact and password protect it. You could if you wanted to, but you don't need to because it's all 2FA secured by Seamlss. So the client will get the email, gets the link, clicks on the link, and then they download the ABA file or whatever it is you're sending. Here is the file. I can view my file. I can do whatever I want with it as a client, and then I'm done. So finish that. Go back. Oops. Go back to the firm view. Again, you can still send them SMS and email reminders. Yes, Celeste?
So you've got a few more questions flowing in now, which is good.
Cool. Can you set up auto InstaFetch? Oh, I like that one. Yes, not yet. So the automation is coming next week. Well, hopefully this week. We'll see how Daniel goes. You'll have email auto reminders within days in Seamlss, and that I am looking forward to. Hopefully from there, we'll be able to set up automatic fetch requests. But Joanne, what you can do is use the client smart link. So you can set up an email automation to send a smart link. So if you've got a BAS smart link going on, so for example, this one here is an FYI. If you're using FYI in automations, you can create a BAS one. Send me your BAS stuff. I don't need entities. I don't need an ID check. I just want my BAS data every quarter. I don't need an engagement letter signed. Done. So that link is what I will send to collect the BAS information every single quarter to collect the information. Hopefully that helps, Joanne. InstaFetch forms are really designed for fast queries, something that will take time to build out.
Yeah. There was one question here is, do you have forms for getting the info from clients to start a new company or trust, which I know that we have them under your form templates?
There is a couple there. I want to make some better ones. So if you have your own, send them through. I would like to build some better new company, trust, things like that, forms with some more conditional formatting. Automations, yes, more automations. Currently, clients, ATO Mate notifications through Seamlss. Would we send ATO Mate notifications through Seamlss? No. If you have an ATO Mate notifications, wouldn't it send notifications to the clients? The idea with the InstaSend is just around those payment slips and NOAs and things like that. You want to keep secure. You can import your clients from the data center from XPM. We do have an update pending to auto sync clients into Seamlss from XPM. So there is more coming, but you can import the clients from XPM. The meeting schedule is about to end. Oh, that's just the fireflies. They can go away.
I was going to say, Jessica just said, could we send InstaSend to send sensitive documents to a bank?
Yes. If they've got, if you've set them up, you need to set them up as a client. So if it was a bank person, yes, they could log in and just download that one document. Yes. But you would need their name, phone number, and email. Hopefully, with the next update, you'll be able to send it to contacts as well. I'm not sure about that with Daniel, but that's a good question for future updates.
Yeah, that would be the idea, I think.
Yeah, it's future goals is to allow other people to come into a request. So think if I send this to a business, I might want their mortgage broker, their lawyer, their financial planner to be able to add information to the request so they could all be included and help the client on board and only see the bits that they need to see. So there's more to come around that, and that's what Daniel's building for me. So that's how you can send information through the Seamlss client portal, and that's what the process is for. Agent linking, that's what the agent linking guide, I took you through that before. We push the clients to XPM. You can pull them back from XPM. You can use the data center to import the clients and the entities. You can sync the documents to FYI, SharePoint, Dropbox. Talked about Zapier. There is a video on Zapier. If people want a bigger deep dive into Zapier, let me know. I'm happy to do something there. We talked about 2FAs. It's all SMS and MFA to log in. Data's hosted in Australia. Seamlss does work for New Zealand firms. We do have quite a few New Zealand firms using it, and I think there was a couple UK trialing it out. There is audit history for the whole firm and on a client-by-client basis. Obviously, Seamlss is made to make the whole process easy for you, and that was my goal. So one of the key things that we talk to a lot of clients about is they're like, oh, I'm using this app and I'm using that app. But sometimes that's the client's journey is several apps, not one app. And that's the whole idea with Seamlss. We build it for accounting firms. So they're going from a lead to an onboarding and engagement all in the one app, including a job deployment through XPM. How much is Seamlss? It's $600 a year for 1,200 requests. If you go over that, we'll give you a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, you need to increase, and you can buy some more. If you want to do it monthly, you can do it monthly. If you want a trial, it's a 14-day free trial, unlimited, go to crazy, use all the parts that you want. If you want help onboarding, we can do the VIP onboarding and help onboard, train, and set up your firm. You can do it yourself, but the options are there. If you're on the fence, let me know. Happy to help out. If you've got more questions, by all means, jump in. I think I've gone through everything. Is there anything I've missed? Let me know. Things that are coming out soon. So we did talk about it at XeroCon last week. Meetings is coming soon. So we're still in the preview stage of meetings. There's a few more things that developers are working on there to improve the meeting process. After that, we've also got proposals coming very, very soon as well. So you'll be able to do job deployment, proposals, and engagement letter all within the Seamlss from start of a lead to the end of onboarding and engagement. Is there any other questions? I think we're done. Don't be shy to unmute yourself if you do. I'm happy to turn the recording off as well. I can finish that up. Stop the recording. Done. Thanks, everyone.